This is the eufyMake E1 UV printer. In this video, I'm going to go over the top features and functionality that you can expect from the E1. So let's start with showing you what you can make with it, and all the cool stuff that I've made over the past couple of months. First up, we have metallic prints. I printed these in high quality with white, CMYK, and gloss layers, 2 small sheets of stainless steel. The colors really pop when printing to metallics, and I love how they shift with the lighting. Phone cases are another super fun thing to print to, especially when you have 2 teenage daughters that like to swap out phone cases like underwear. This one's horrifying. Printing directly to glass drinkware has really let me find new ways to horrify my family. Everyone say hi to Dr. Nigel Channing. Don't worry, it's just a figment of your imagination. I've been printing art inspired by some of my favorite book series to canvas and wood so I can finally start decorating our home's library. This is the one thing I didn't expect to be so excited about, but it's all I can do to stop myself from pillaging Michael's for canvases. Each of these was printed at standard quality and in under 20 minutes each. I made about 20 of these little metal tins. I could print roughly 6 of them at a time on the mini flatbed. You'd think the prints on metal would be a little less durable, but here I am scratching at it with my fingernails, which I thankfully cleaned before recording. You're welcome. Ceramic is probably my favorite material to UV print. Magnets and coasters like the ones in the eufyMake materials bundle are exactly the kind of low-cost, high-return item I'd want to stock in my booth for shows. Clear acrylic presents a unique opportunity to spruce up the sewing templates I offer in my shop. Here I printed CMYK first, followed by a layer of white. A big feature of the eufyMake E1 is 3-dimensional texture printing. It uses white ink to build up a surface it can then print to. eufyMake software has AI-driven features that will identify areas of your artwork that can be raised and create the relief or pattern textures for you. And of course, if you don't have this kind of artwork for yourself, the Make It Real section of the app has plenty of 3D textured projects like this dragon magnet design. The software is free to use. An optional subscription is available to those who would like to access the more advanced AI features. Take it from me as a principal software engineer, cloud-based AI services aren't cheap, so this is a reasonable ask. Okay, that's enough showing off. Let's go over a few details, like what exactly is a UV printer? A UV printer uses UV reactive inks. It places the ink down and then it sweeps over and uses a UV light to cure the ink. It's primarily meant for hard surfaces. So if you're like me and you thought that the F in DTF meant fabric, not the other thing, then no, it means direct to film. Because it's UV cured, that means that it creates a really resilient print. I can literally take a screwdriver and scratch over the printed surface and it does nothing, which is pretty freaking cool if you ask me. To get the most vibrant colors possible with a UV printer, it also includes white ink. There's also gloss ink that you can include that will coat everything after it's done printing to protect the print. You don't have to use that if you want a matte finish. Apart from the different ink modes, you also have the ability to print at different quality levels. There's 3 quality levels available to you: draft, standard, and high quality. The E1 is capable of printing resolutions up to 1440p, and in all honesty, I have only printed high quality a handful of times. Everything else looked fine at standard. So let's go over some of the basics at a high level. The machine, as you can see, is extremely compact. I have it sitting here on the end of my dining room table. It uses the idea of pass-through, which if you come from lasers, you understand what I mean by that. If you don't come from lasers, essentially what I mean is you can put in things that pass through on either end. Look at this. Woo! Cool, right? They should never have allowed me to have a YouTube channel. Basically, the pass-through means that what you see is not the limitation of the machine's depth. You can, in fact, print 420 millimeters deep and 330 millimeters wide. I don't know what that is in freedom units. It also has an optional accessory for a rotary. By default, it comes with the mini plate. Let's go ahead and get that out so you can see. It just unlatches with this little slider and you pull it out and there's your plate. And in case you're curious, this is the standard plate. The mini and standard flatbed plates are both included in the basic bundle, so you won't have to worry about buying an extra accessory to print to larger items. Let's go over maintenance features, because typically with machines like this, it's known that it can be a nightmare to maintain, but that's actually with more commercial machines. And I mean, those machines can get big, like as big as my dining room table. This is not a commercial machine. In fact, it's pretty darn portable, making it possible to take to shows. And as far as maintenance goes, eufyMake has engineered technology called Jet Clean to tackle the level of maintenance required for a UV printer. Commercial UV printers require daily maintenance to keep the print head from clogging, which is something that your typical crafty bean can't commit to. So the Jet Clean system makes UV printing much more accessible for people like me who may not use the printer daily. The Jet Clean system is going to automatically maintain and moisturize the print head periodically while it's on. I actually suggest that you keep the machine running 24/7 so that the maintenance cycle can run. However, if you want, you can turn it off by holding the power button for about 5 seconds. Just know that when you do that, it's going to eject any of the ink that it's preloaded into the print head and drop it into the cleaning kit. Note that after 72 hours of not printing, it will automatically do that to protect the integrity of the print head. That's because print heads are really expensive, so you kind of don't want to mess that up. One of the top questions that I've seen asked in the Facebook group is how long can it go idle before you need to worry about print head clogging? I have 2 times left the machine idle for 7 whole days. I then injected the print head with ink and I was off to the races. And my prints were very clean, so that gets a mega thumbs up from me. If this were a more commercial machine, I would have to teach my husband how to basically moisturize and clean the print head. And let's just say I can't get the dishes done while I'm out of town for a Run Disney trip, so I'm pretty glad this one just maintains itself. So let's talk about fumes. For anybody who has done 3D printing with resins, then you understand that UV resin kind of has a stank. The eufyMake E1 has a filtration system that is built inside. So when you're printing using the mini bed and both of the doors are closed, everything's fine. Now, if I'm going to do something with the standard bed, the larger one that requires me to open both of the doors for pass-through, then I do get a little bit of the UV resin / ink smell, but I keep a Lavoie air filter nearby, and I actually do have an enclosure that another beta tester suggested. I'll make sure to leave a link to that in the description box below. So this is a 12x16 wooden portrait that I printed to, and it took about 3 hours. The VOCs were maybe 350, 360-ish at the highest point. And the smell wasn't really all that bad. Mind you that prints like this don't always take 3 hours. I did this in high quality with a layer of white ink, a layer of CMY ink, and then a gloss coat. In retrospect, I probably could have skipped the gloss coat and gone a little faster because I could have just sprayed this with an acrylic sealant or something myself. But it really is cool looking. Now let's talk about ink usage statistics. Each cartridge contains 100 milliliters of ink. That doesn't sound like a lot, but I was using the machine practically daily for 2 months before I needed to change any of the cartridges out. In fact, it's been a week past having to change only 2 of the cartridges and the cleaning kit. Everything else is from the original cartridges that they sent me. It should also be noted that in that 2-month period, I had 2 full weeks of travel plus an unplanned hospital stay for an appendectomy, which meant that the machine had to go into maintenance mode and eject the ink. Your ink mileage is going to vary. My results might not be your results, and your results might not be what other people on YouTube are saying. It depends on how high quality or low quality you're printing, what you're printing to, and how often you print. Because again, if you go beyond the 72 hours, it's gonna dump any of the ink that it had preloaded. So that's kind of a waste factor. All you have to do is print daily. It doesn't have to be anything huge, just print like some tiny thing, and it keeps the head clean and you don't have to worry about it going into maintenance mode and dumping the ink. I say that a lot. It's not a bad thing. This is a very good thing that the machine maintains itself, because basically you'd have to turn around and buy a whole new print head if you let it get clogged up. I just mention this because if anybody is like me and is rather new to a machine like this, you might not realize that that's going on and how important it is to have that cleaning feature. So again, not a bad thing. You just need to factor that into how you use the machine and how you budget for your ink consumption. You will be able to buy the ink cartridges and the cleaning kits individually, or you can buy them in one set. So I've gone through a lot of the hard surface items that you can print directly to. And I know a lot of you bag makers that are typically watching my channel for bag making videos or sewing tips are gonna wonder, can I put this on vinyl? Yes, you can-ish, as long as you are not going to fold something directly in half. The ink will stay there. That said, it is a very rigid ink, so there are a couple different things that you need to do in order to make sure that what you end up printing isn't going to be too thick and then crack under pressure. I had someone actually ask me if this would work on something like a leatherette patch for a hat. And the answer is yes, as long as the hat is structured. If it's a dad cap and somebody's gonna ball it up and put it in their back pocket, I probably wouldn't bother doing that. That said, here's an example of some JDS leatherette that I printed to, and I'm squishing it up. And it's still fine. That's pretty cool. Now, I will definitely use this on purses that are very structured, because kind of like the brick theory, if someone is going to go beyond the use of a bag as it was intended and completely ignore my bag usage guidelines and warranties, that's on them. I really can't imagine somebody taking like a very structured miniature backpack and doing this to it, but you know, I've had stranger things happen. So I specifically want to have a little section to talk about the UV DTF stickers. I don't mean stickers as in you put it on your car and hope that it peels off later when you need to sell it. These are more like semi-permanent stickers. They're basically meant for taking off and sticking to things that you can't normally put through the printer. Things with uneven surfaces, curved surfaces, or objects that won't fit into the standard preset rotary options. And don't get me wrong, the rotary is pretty versatile, but if the circumference on one end varies too much from the other end, then it won't be able to print to it, which is why you have the DTF stickers. And mind you, once again, DTF, the F does not stand for fabric. The number of times I've had to explain that to people is too high. So let's go over the UV DTF sticker process real quick. Step 1, you lay down the A-film paper side down, then peel off the protective sheet to expose the sticky side. Step 2, in the software, use the sticker ink mode, then chill somewhere and let the magic happen. Step 3, after it's done printing, you need to laminate it with heat to make it transferable. Step 4, trim it up and cut out your stickers. Step 5, clean the surface of the object you'll be embellishing with rubbing alcohol. Step 6, hold the sticker with both hands and lay down one end of the sticker, followed by sweeping motions along the sticker to smoothly place it down and avoid bubbles. Step 7, use a squeegee to remove any remaining air bubbles and secure the edges of the sticker. And finally, pull off the clear transfer sheet and enjoy your newly embellished cursed object. Now you're probably wondering, how durable are the prints? Well, I'm happy to say they're pretty darn robust. I can literally take a screwdriver to the printed surface and scratch around and it does nothing to the print. That said, these are not dishwasher safe. If you print to a tumbler or you put a UV sticker on a mug like I have, you should not put these in the dishwasher. This isn't purely from a perspective of durability, it's a safety issue. You should never print or apply a UV DTF sticker to a surface that's gonna have food or drink touching it at any point. You can put it on the outside, just not on the inside. So you can imagine that if you put this in the dishwasher and it gets washed around and heated up, then that's probably not a good thing. I mean, I'm real big on my viewers not trying to poison themselves, so please listen to me. So who is this machine for? Well, first off, if you're running a commercial business and you need to print fast and in large quantities, this is not the machine for you. This machine is meant for the home. It's meant for your crafting enthusiast and small businesses. I kind of float in between those two. Like, I definitely like to putter around and play with a lot of new and crafty things that help me do the stuff that I like to do, but I don't have the willpower, the drive, or the time to run a proper small business. So for someone like me, this is perfect. It doesn't take up a lot of space, it doesn't require daily maintenance from me, and it does everything that I could imagine wanting to do with it. Do I have bold aspirations of printing 1 million of these mugs and getting sued by Nintendo? No, absolutely not. Look, in my defense, I worked on the game and I'm really excited and proud of that. So this is definitely something that I think that a small business would want to consider if you're used to going to third-party services to get your UVDTF stickers made. There's nothing wrong with those services. But if you're looking for a way to do this yourself without having to go through one of those services, this probably will work really well for you. You can print your own gang sheets, and you can print however many you want without going, oh no, I have to order 500 of these to get the discount that I need to keep the profit margin that I want, which is usually what goes through my brain when I'm thinking, oh, I need to buy a thing so I can make more things. Sometimes you just want to do it yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I know that I have kind of like blazed through a lot of the features and the different things that you can make with the machine and how to use it. I plan on doing targeted videos that go through each of the features and give you tutorials on specific things, like the rotary and the UVDTF stickers, printing to acrylics or canvas. Those smaller videos will be a lot easier to digest than listening to me talk for 4 hours about how cool this machine is. The machine is slated to start shipping in July of 2025. eufyMake will be running a Kickstarter campaign to get pre-orders put in. That means there's going to be pre-order pricing and special bundles that you can get as an early bird backer. Now, if there is anything that I did not cover in the video or cover deeply enough, please don't hesitate to leave me a question in the comments section below the video. I very frequently go through the comments and answer questions when I'm capable. Well, when I'm capable of giving you an answer. And if I don't know, I'll just point you to somebody else who can answer it. I'm really excited about this machine, if you can't tell. So I'm really looking forward to doing a ton of videos showing off all the things that I can make with it. Or that you can make with it. I haven't been doing this YouTube thing long enough, I don't think. Thank you so much for joining me on this video journey. Until next time.